The fastest Terran in NA is back. A few weeks ago I looked at Vindicta's fantastic PvP where he beat Haas and Puzzle convincingly. This time he posted an even more fantastic result. He 2-0'd ByuN in one important qualifier. And he even took a macro game of Zaun as well, one of the best Protoss players in the world. Let's see how he did it against ByuN. Now we're playing on the Hardwire. Pretty big macro map of course. So far they're both doing the exact same. I do wonder actually if ByuN knows Vindicta, because I feel like a lot of these really good NA players are a bit less known. So I don't know, because ByuN normally is a very aggressive player. When I play against him, sometimes he does play standard, but he also goes very crazy a lot of the time. Proxy Reapers, 2-Rax Reapers, you know, no Scout Reaper expand into medevac drop, stuff like that. So far they are exactly mirroring themselves, or each other I should say, which makes it even more interesting to me that Vindicta actually beat him, because you would think ByuN, in an even situation, he should be coming out ahead. But Vindicta getting better and better these days, actually managing to take down ByuN. So yeah, let's see. Now, there's a lot of variations you can do with the double gas. You can go for 2 Reapers and then straight tech lab on the factory. You can go for reactor first, go for like 8 units. So at this point, these builds are obviously super standard, but you can turn them into anything. Yeah, like you could even go into a battlecruiser from here, Reaper heli and attack, anything you would want to do really, to be honest. I do like the evolution of the depot, by the way. Like for legit years and years, everyone walled off their base with the depots, but now everyone makes it in the corner of their base. Like at some point, I don't know if it was Maru or Cure or whoever started first, at some point all the Terrans decided it was useless to wall off the base, and now you can see literally everyone making their depots there, which is just really funny. Now Vindicta's gonna go for a tech lab on this. Wait, this is actually fascinating because I haven't really done this build before, where you get the tech lab on the factory or on the barracks and then probably gonna swap it over unless he's gonna make marauders, I guess. Let's see. Yeah, he's gonna swap it over, and what's fascinating is that they're both doing it. Like, it's the most normal build in the world, but I actually have not really seen this before. Now, you know, I obviously am not able to watch every single TVT ever played, so someone must have done this before, but I haven't really seen it. Now, Vindicta's gonna go for the double tech lab, and ByuN is also gonna go for the double tech lab. So yeah, this is getting crazier and crazier, because this is... I feel like you can see this opener when they play, you know, tech lab before, or tech lab on the factory fast before the Hellion. But I really haven't seen this version where they make it on the tech lab for the Cyclone. Now, you would think these Reapers might be a waste, but to be fair, Reapers fall off so much as the game continues, so I actually think this situation is a bit better for Vindicta. Vindicta knows he's going up against the double tech lab, and ByuN doesn't know. And even if he has 2 Reapers extra, what are you going to do against a Cyclone when you're trying to attack, right? So even though he lost 2 Reapers there for seemingly nothing, I think the Scout here is actually more important than keeping the 2 Reapers alive. So far I would give Vindicta a small advantage. Especially because they're both going for Banshee, because it's very easy, if you don't know a Banshee is coming, to be out of position. Banshee comes in, kills 7 workers, and you're just like, you know, eternally behind. And at the same time, if you do know a Banshee is coming, all you have to do is keep your Cyclones on the edges and the Banshee will literally never be able to come in. But then still there are some techniques where you can save it until later. You know, come in with the Banshee a few minutes later, still do all the damage that you need. Now, Urgency is actually very fast with this build. I should honestly try this out. Like, this third, it, like, I don't know. It feels very, very fast. 420. ByuN's third is not down yet. Let's see, what did they do different than in the unit tab? Not much, really. Somehow Vindicta's, yeah, CC is just a lot faster. That is something. Oh, ByuN has a lot more depots. ByuN actually has 3 extra depots building, pretty much. Or, well, 2. 2 already finished. That is a big difference maker. And he is 1 SCV ahead. Wait, did we kill one? Yeah, we did kill 1 worker. So ByuN actually made a few SCVs more, because he's 3 SCVs ahead. And he has 2 more depots. Okay, those are small details that are... you could see them as mistakes, but they're very often not mistakes. Like, for example, one thing that's normal to do in TVT is skipping Marines, so you can make that third faster. Now, this is exactly what I was talking about, guys. No one expects a Banshee. ByuN did not scout it, so he's not going to have his units at home. He has a few Marines, but Marines are honestly legendarily bad against Banshees. Like, if you get Stim out, then it's a completely different story. Then you just kill them. But Marines cannot do anything against this. Like, the range of the Banshee is a bit too long. Really hard to get any damage on those. So you see he kills 4 Marines already. I think he killed 2 SCVs as well. Now the Cyclones are going to come back. Maybe we'll be able to catch 2 SCVs more. Let's see. I think it should be 2. 3, 1, 2, 3 maybe? No, okay. 8 kills on that Banshee. Very nice. And at the same time, wow, he's going to catch the Raven as well. That's a really good catch by Vindicta. This is the kind of moves that I really love when I watched Vindicta play TVP. Is that he is so aware of where the opponent's units are. And he uses his APM to actually go out and do whatever he can with his units, because ByuN had 2 Reapers, a Hellion, and 2 Cyclones in front of his base, so he kept them at home. But as soon as he realized the Cyclones were out, he moved his own Cyclones out to get anything. And this time he honestly found the grand reward, because killing a Raven, one of the biggest things that can happen in TVT. At the same time, by the way, the Banshee of ByuN, just like I said, this all came down to the early Reaper scout. Vindicta is grabbing the lead here, just because he did scout the Banshee. And yeah, ByuN didn't, so he wasn't able to use his. Now, when he saw those Cyclones in the middle, he could have considered to use it, but I think he's really saving it for a later time, when he's gonna go for his own tank push. Because yeah, if let's say Vindicta's on the map with all of his Ravens, all of his Vikings and Cyclones, then the Banshee comes in, it's super annoying to have to deal with that while the fight is going on. Vindicta also is getting his upgrades faster, his barracks are finishing a bit faster, so honestly, yeah, Vindicta has done everything right so far in this game pretty much. Now this is a little bit scary of a face-off. This is where the 2 Reapers can actually be an advantage for ByuN. Okay, here we go. Because what can happen is that the Reapers... Wow, he was actually looking and he locked onto the Cyclones. That was extremely impressive. I don't know if you guys saw that, but yeah, still goes ByuN's way. What I was expecting to happen is the Cyclones auto-lock onto the Reapers, and the Cyclones of ByuN kill the Cyclones of Vindicta. But Vindicta was actually fast enough to lock onto the Cyclones, but yeah, he didn't have the vision, didn't have the amount of units, so he did lose both. And that is the advantage of the 2 Reapers. So if you do have that advantage, where you get the scouting, but you have the Reapers, you don't have the Reapers anymore, you do have to babysit your Cyclones a little bit. I was going to go up to 5 barracks. That I find a little bit interesting. Talking about styles, a lot of you might not know Vindicta. He is typically a very macro player. He likes his late games. And on a map like Hardwire, and in general in TVT, it's very common to get the 4th base down before those extra barracks. So that is something I'm slightly surprised to see. From ByuN, it doesn't surprise me at all. Because like I said, ByuN he's an aggressive Terran. He's very fast as well, but in his own way, he likes to make stuff happen. Vindicta is fast in the way that he will always grab the map control. He will always move his units around. Just like this. Very good move there, killing 2 Cyclones for... did he even lose a Marine there? I'm not even sure. Just a perfect move. Basically negating losing his Cyclones earlier. Now he's getting turrets out on the edges. I really love this move. ByuN is getting depots. This is actually funny. ByuN is getting depots to spot. Both of these moves are fine. But Vindicta is getting turrets. And I actually like the turrets myself. This is what I do when I play mech. Just because... one thing is being surprised by a drop. But also if they fly over a turret, you could actually kill a medevac if they don't notice. And even if you don't kill it, you will make it, you know, yellow HP, orange HP. And they will just be... forced to go back and repair that before dropping again. So I actually really love dropping those turrets there. It looks weird to me to not have any turrets in the main. Like, obviously in TVT you don't need them right away. Like, it's only on 3 bases. They still have the air control here. Vindicta has his air control here. But at some point you're gonna need the turrets here. And I think it's funny that there's nothing here, but he has the turrets on the outside. Now finally the Banshee went in. If I had to guess, it probably killed 1 SCV, 2 SCVs, okay. Or 1, I don't know if he killed 1 before. But yeah, definitely not the best use of the Banshee. And it's just because of that scout, really. Honestly, if I was ByuN, I probably would have considered to cancel the Banshee and just make a Raven instead. Once I got scouted. Now the fortresses are going down, and I guess this is when the action is really gonna start. Because once you get the 2-2, you see the medevacs are out. I imagine at least ByuN will be trying to move out. Second factory going down. I imagine the same will be going for Vindicta soon. Second factory, very important, guys, because... in TVT, honestly, like, tanks just own everything. I mean, speaking from experience, but you guys probably know as well, you can have 50 Marines and you can run into a bunch of siege tanks, even if you split well. You are most likely still gonna get obliterated, so definitely that factory is in need. Yeah, one thing I would do different from Vindicta is something that every Terran does, is Terrans always use the tech lab of the stim and combat shields to make the factory. So what I would even do is I would lift it off and build the factory on it. And then you just have, you know, a lot of tank production right away. He could still use it, but he built it a bit far, and buildings honestly fly so slow. I would have loved to see it actually at least built here or built on the tech lab already. Now ByuN is already going through 2 starports. Now one thing that I have to praise ByuN for over Vindicta is that Vindicta is down 10 SCVs. And this is not a mistake in a sense, because he's consciously doing it. You know, he's making more Marines, he wants more army supply. But I think in TVT it's kind of proven, especially by Maru, who is honestly pretty much an unbeatable TVT god, is that getting 85 SCVs is just really good. And what I've learned personally from watching Maru is that he, even when he's only on 3 bases, he will still keep making SCVs So he can actually saturate the 4th base instantly like this whenever it lands. And then once that happens, you're just in a good position. Right now, like what Vindicta basically has is he has 20 more Marines. You can see ByuN cut Marines. But those Marines don't really do that much usually. Like, if you get them into the main, if you get into an unsieged tank line, they will. But in high-level TVT, usually they don't do that much. Now, this is a I didn't even know that until now. This is a perfect move to get rid of your Marines. Because, yeah, you just don't need that many. Now, Vindicta's actually had an upgrades, but it looks like those are going to finish in about 15 seconds. So he won't be able to use it, really. Now, he is spotted, but I don't know if ByuN saw it. Let's see. He's definitely not paying attention to it so far, else he would have run back for his life. It's actually taking him a long time to see it. Now he sees it. Wait, that is actually a planetary. That is pretty cool. Okay. And now he has to run back for his life. Now, this move seems a bit insane to me because the army's already coming back. There's only 3 siege tanks in there, which can be matrixed. But I do think he had to sacrifice the Marines. So that is pretty well done. He's actually going to lose the Raven there. That is a massive mistake by ByuN. Let's see if he can target some Vikings. Gonna try to lift up in the medevac. Really good target fire though from ByuN. The supply honestly is not too bad here. Vindicta and both of them are showing the Raven transition. But now Vindicta is gonna show his APM power multitasking because at the same time he's already here. And now if he's fast enough, he can actually get into his position and deny the entire left side. And TVT, like I said, Marines are kind of fodder. They don't do that much. And he used them perfectly because it felt very wasteful, but at the same time, now he got into a position with tanks, and this position is not going to be broken. There are 6 tanks here, and you can't run into this without Ravens. So just by doing this YOLO drop on the right side, which didn't seem very efficient at all, Vindicta has actually gotten himself into a lead. He killed this base. He's probably going to kill this command center by the looks of it, and he might even kill this base. So, yeah, I didn't really see it coming, to be honest, but fantastic move there by Vindicta. Now he's making a Hellion. That seems like the last unit you want to make in these situations. Now, let's see how they're going to manage it. You can also tell that Vindicta is making very few mistakes in the macro department because his 3-3 is almost finished, guys. ByuN's has not even started and Vindicta's is almost finished. That is pretty insane. Now, ByuN is going to go in here. This seems crazy, but it's going to work out. And I can explain you exactly why. It is always very dangerous. Okay, there's a stim in the bottom. I didn't see this. It's going to have to back up because of those tanks, though. Why that attack by ByuN was really good is because a PF, like units don't actually take priority over a planetary fortress. So what happened there is the tanks were shooting the PF, ByuN sieged in range, and you actually have to manually retarget the tanks, which did take Vindicta a while to do. So they shot the PF one more time, ByuN's tanks started shooting Vindicta's tanks, and that it was a good break. But it's a very risky move to do, because if the Terran is actually paying attention, they will instantly retarget and get you down. But for that reason, guys, be very careful when you siege in range of a PF, because your units, there's a decent chance you will get destroyed just exactly because you're attacking the planetary. Now, one thing that I am a bit surprised about is that Vindicta took a very long time to make his CCs. Like, keep in mind, Vindicta killed ByuN's 6th and 7th command center there, while his 5th is already up. And he's only starting his own 5th now, so that is definitely a little bit late. That is one thing that I did miss in the macro department. But then again, he has probably more Ravens. Actually, it's pretty even, 3 against 2. I guess either side will take those. But he has his 3-3 way faster. I would like him to make more SCVs. Like you can see, ByuN just has like comfortably a few hundred minerals more income. Right now it's because he's mining out a little bit. I feel like normally it would be 300 or so. Just having those few tanks more. And now we're going to get into some more multitasking action here. Let's see if the same thing is going to happen. Exactly what I said. He was shooting the PF and the tanks were able to clean down that tank. Oh, this looks like a good fight for Vindicta. There are a lot of tanks in the back though, so it is pretty scary. Let's see if he's going to back off after killing those tanks. Looks like he will. I'm honestly not sure if that was efficient or not. Killing tanks is always big in TVT, guys. Killing tanks is huge. Even though he lost a lot of Marines, probably not the biggest deal. Now, if you guys would ask me what I would change, is pretty much that I would make a few less Marines and make CCs instead. Because you can see, Vindicta always has double the Marine count of ByuN. And he's doing well so far. But ByuN's composition is technically the correct one. It should be better. So I think that's what Vindicta could have done a bit better. Maybe make a few less Marines to make more CCs. Now, the Liberator is such a good idea because he has the air control. So you know what's hard about PFs? It makes the base so hard to touch. Like, you actually need a lot of tanks to touch it. And I'm a little bit worried for Vindicta because he only has 4 tanks against 10. Yeah, like I said, I've said it many times, tanks are so good that, yeah, you don't really want to be in that position where you get out-tanked that hard. Now he even loses 2 more tanks. And now I'm starting to wonder, like, I gave Vindicta the advantage. Now I kind of feel like he doesn't have that advantage anymore because he just doesn't have tanks. So I wonder how he's going to deal with this. Like, obviously he has a very active position. So it's not like ByuN can just walk across the map and kill him. At least hopefully. I do have to praise ByuN's tank spread. Like, he always had so many tanks around this area, making it really hard for Vindicta to push in anywhere. You know, honestly, there's so many medevacs here. He could risk another Doom drop, but it looks like the base is just too covered, right, for ByuN. Hey, look, he actually made another turret here. ByuN actually scanning that base. That's interesting. There's so many scans going down. I don't even know where to find them. 3 scans here, 1 scan on Vindicta's base. I thought it always showed on the minimap. Isn't it supposed to show on the minimap? That is crazy. Oh, okay. Anti-armor missile. ByuN making a Thor. That's a very interesting move. That's a move you always hear people theory craft about. If you lose the air control in TVT, shouldn't you just make Thors? And people don't do it usually because the Raven just disables them and then they suck, right? But it is a move that can work sometimes, so it's interesting to see ByuN try it. Now finally we're getting that command center spam that I was talking about. That's what you need. And it's really funny to me to see that Vindicta has honestly had the worst army for a bit. But he's been so active that he's actually managed to take the map control entirely. And ByuN is just sitting back in his corner like kind of scared, like help. Pretty much. Really good control there by ByuN though. I think he sniped pretty much all the Ravens and stuff. There's 1 Viking and 2 Ravens left. I mean, ByuN actually only has these 3 Vikings himself. Now, ByuN does have 4 starports. Let's see how many Vindicta has. Yeah, 5 starports against 3 in favor of ByuN. And that is a pretty big deal. And the more I'm wondering how Vindicta wins this game. Because looking at it, it feels like... Okay, this looks like a disaster about to happen. Yeah, thank you for backing off there. The more I look at this, the more I feel like ByuN just has the lead here. Like, ByuN has the Ravens, he has more CCs. This does not look like a good game for Vindicta anymore, guys. Despite the good moves, I feel like his army composition is just not quite where it needs to be. And yeah, I feel like this definitely looks like a losing game. Now, he's getting a fusion core. Are we going to do it with battle cruisers? That would be quite something. See, I actually have to zoom out a little bit, right? That's the tip one of you guys gave me. These TVT engagements are so hard to follow. If I try to make a thumbnail, by the way, these are YouTuber struggles, I know, but it's so hard to make a thumbnail in TVT because you have to zoom it like this to capture both of the side's siege tanks. Because it's just like a no man's land with siege tanks on either side. Actually makes it a little bit difficult. Now ByuN is creeping forward. How many tanks does he have? 17 tanks against 8, guys. What are you supposed to do against that? He can even walk in. You can literally walk in and siege that. Oh, that seems a little... He's not actually sieging his units. That seems a little bit dangerous. Especially with some auto turrets going down. Yeah, not the greatest move ever there by ByuN. Oh, please. Tank. Hey, there we go. You know, I find it very satisfying when Thors attack ground units. Like when they're... You know, Thors are so clunky, they never get to attack. But when they're actually in range and they just get to like... It feels very satisfying. So Vindicta is actually going to go for Liberator range, not the BCs. Makes a lot of sense. BCs are situationally fantastic, but usually they just get disabled and then they kind of suck. So Liberators does make more sense. Though honestly, Ravens are usually the better choice. Vindicta's actually going to go in here again. Please kill that tank. Thank you. Wait, this fight is actually insane. ByuN sieged very late here, guys. This was a really late siege by ByuN. And I am very surprised that this worked out. Because there were so many siege tanks there, but ByuN just sieging a little bit too late. And Vindicta saving this. And all these small fights, these things that feel kind of minor, they matter a lot. Because if ByuN's tanks shell on those Marines, the Marines die, and then ByuN actually gets to siege this base, takes control of the middle of the map, and suddenly it's really tough. So even though it seems like a small thing to happen in the game, that is actually very important that those fights go your way. Now, one thing I would love to see is for Vindicta to ask this base from behind, attack it, because it's a really hard base to kill with Marines, but if you just siege a few tanks here, for example, yeah, it's pretty easy to deny, in all fairness. Especially with Liberators, you can siege Libs here. The guy won't have any access at all. It's also making armory, second armory and a Widow Mine. Second armory a little bit late as well. He does have +3 attack. I actually wonder, someone should honestly do the theory on when exactly you should switch your upgrades for the mech, because I feel like no one really knows. I think personally you should probably get +2 for ground and then start working on the air attack. Like, does +3 for tanks really matter? Does +2 for tanks even matter? I don't know. Now, Vindicta has such good air units here that he's actually taking some good fights. ByuN is a bit too spread all over the place. So he wasn't there in time. How many tanks does he have now? Yeah, he's actually lost a lot. He's down to 12 tanks, which is still a pretty obscene amount of tanks, if we're being honest. Now the disables are gonna come in. And Vindicta's gonna stim in. Not because he wants to, but he kind of wants to cover the tanks, realize it's a bad idea, and backs off. And what is the units lost in this game? Yeah, Vindicta has actually lost quite a little bit more. And the supplies, I think the supplies are a bit deceiving just because what I told you earlier. If you look at the production tab right now, it tells the story. ByuN is making 4 Ravens and 2 tanks. Vindicta is making 13 Marines. Like, he really likes his Marines. He's trying so hard to make something happen. And honestly, the more spread the Terran is, the more likely you are to make something happen. Like here, this looks like a really good stim in. Does ByuN have something to fall back to? There are tanks in the back. Not that many though. Like, honestly, I would love if he actually went for this, because it's just a few tanks. Now there's more tanks coming in though. Yeah, he's gonna kill these 2 tanks and run away. Good moves. This base is not a PF yet. And you have to applaud Vindicta to make stuff happen, guys, because I feel like if most people, if you're in this scenario, you will just get owned by the tanks and the air control. But Vindicta actually got himself 50 supply up at this point. Now, I know the army composition, I've been complaining about it a bit, but if you're 50 supply up, your army composition is pretty fine. Let's see. He actually, this is a funny situation, okay, because Ravens are better in theory, but there is not that many that he can just go in and disable everything and go. Like, it's 6 Ravens against more Vikings and more Liberators. So you see, he's disabling some random stuff, but Vindicta is still winning this because there's just no Vikings for ByuN. Like, at this point, ByuN really needs to add some Vikings. But he is actually, yeah, there we go, 5 Vikings in the production tab. But it might actually be a little bit late, because this Liberator is going to do some real damage when it, yeah, gets unmatrixed. I don't know how to call it. Has to use 3 auto turrets for that. Seems like a good save by ByuN, but at the same time, if you're spending your Raven energy to drop mass turrets to kill 1 Liberator, it's probably not that great. Now, Vindicta is actually going for a battlecruiser here. I do want to note, guys, Vindicta does not have a single upgrade for his air units. Which is definitely a mistake, by the way. Sorry about that. Definitely a mistake. I am trying my best to criticize all the mistakes that both parties are making. But battlecruisers with 3-3, pretty insane, guys. They tank so hard. But battlecruisers with 0-0, they're just tickling, man. They do like 3 damage per shot. Oh, this is a fantastic move, though. Killing that base on the left side. Taking that 1 lib. Liberators are so good to have against PFs, just 1, because you can actually deny the mining completely with that. And obviously, ByuN is going to clear this up. He is down to 53 SCVs at this point. If you look at the income tab, yeah, I mean, I don't even have to say anything about it. That is insane. 2.5 against 1k mineral income. Even if ByuN wanted to make Marines, he wouldn't be able to. Look, he has 5 units in the production tab, and he has absolutely no money left. Ooh, that would have been a cool move, but those 2 Vikings and 1 Raven actually scared him off the drop. Now, Vindicta has control of the middle of the map. I still would have... Dude, a Liberator here would be killer. Imagine a Lib. Pretty sure it could siege all 3 tanks at the same time as well. Now, he's taking this base on the left side. Wow, I feel like... you need to be pretty brave to take this base next to this freaking bunker, like, siege up position over here. Now, everywhere I look, there's tanks of ByuN. 17 tanks. Now, Vindicta actually got 12 himself, so that is a very respectable number. Oh, he can go into there. With a few disables, you can totally stim that. Let's see it. Yeah, disables 3 out of 5. A little bit clunky on moving in there. And now ByuN is going to drop turrets, but yeah, you can see they are disappearing instantly. And if you're wondering why, turrets are so bad against siege tanks. Like, I'm pretty sure, I don't even know if you need +1. I think you need +1 for it, but then tanks literally 2-shot them. So all the turrets just disappear. And Vindicta, it's once again, I'm surprised, man. He made so much happen in situations that didn't seem that great. I said it multiple times throughout the mid game. There are too many tanks here for ByuN. But in the end, the units loss is completely even. Even the 400 ahead in favor of Vindicta. Despite him playing with mass Marines. And yeah, just the level of awareness to find all the holes and opportunities there is just fantastic. Let's see the APM. How fast was he this time? Average 450, even faster than the other time. I think the TVP, his average was 430. What a speed demon he is. Anyway, I know this game was very hectic, so I didn't look at the POV too much because I felt like it was going to be all over the place. Hope you guys enjoyed this video, though. Make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys next time. Adios.